Hello everyone! I promised to show you another game from round 12, so here it is. Decided it's best to do it immediately as it is Saturday, you know, there's still time to go grab a nice beer. So here we have it, Shakhtar Mamedyarov versus Ding Liren. Also a clash of titans, as neither Shah nor Ding have lost a single game yet. So of course it's definitely a very interesting matchup. And I told you in my previous video that I didn't get any photos from Nikki from the previous round. She did take some photos, so she forgot to upload them, unfortunately. So here are some of them. This is a position from the previous game, Karakin versus Caruana. Here we have also the final photo of that game, the handshake, where Sergei Karakin takes the lead in the tournament. And we also have some photos from this round. Here is Mamedyarov, ready for war. Here we have Ding Liren also pondering over the position, also a very nice photo. And here, maybe even my favorite photo from this round, Sasha Grishchuk just strolling around, as I don't know how many of you have seen the environment these guys are playing in, but there are like 4 little cubicles, and you know, players can stroll around. And I've seen photos from every round. This is round 12, and whenever I see photos taken from above, it's always Sasha Grishchuk who's walking around checking out other people's positions. So definitely an interesting fact. But okay, let's see this game. Mamedyarov has the white pieces, and he opens with d4. We have knight to f6, c4, e6, so this could be a lot of things, knight to f3, and of course d5, always transposing into the queen's gambit declined. Knight to c3, c5 now, and c captures on d5, the Semi-Tarrasch. Knight captures on d5, e4, now knight captures, b captures on c3, c captures, and bishop to b4 check. Bishop to d2, and I think there already was one game played in this variation, I just can't remember in which round it was. Bishop captures, queen captures, and now castles. Bishop to c4, knight to d7, Mamedyarov castles, and now b6, preparing to develop the light square bishop. Rook 8 to d1, bishop to b7, we have rook to e1, and now rook to c8, attacking that bishop. Bishop to b3, rook to e8, and h3 now. Knight to f6, with a double attack on that e-pawn. Queen to f4, defending the pawn, and now knight to h5. And now, what do you do with the queen here? Obviously, you can go back to where you came from. You could maybe do what Mamedyarov did. He played queen to h2. Queen to g4 seems like a very active square, but queen to g4 is basically a draw invitation. Here, Ding would reply knight to f6, and then basically you just have to go back. It's hard to say if knight to h5 was played by Ding with the idea of drawing this game early, as Mamedyarov wasn't. I don't know if he would enjoy a draw with the white pieces this early. I seriously doubt it, but it definitely forces him to do something. So he played queen to h2, but it seems like a weird place to put the queen, but it comes with a very powerful idea, which you'll see. h6. Now knight to e5, an excellent square for the knight. Now this knight here doesn't really do all that much. Knight back to f6, and here we have queen back to f4. And now the queen is on a very powerful square. Now knight to h5 is no longer an idea, because the queen, both queen and knight are attacking the f7 pawn. So b5 here. Ding already starts pushing his queenside pawns, as both players have developed all of their pieces. Ding has a pawn majority here on the queen side, 2 pawns to 1, and Shah has a powerful center here. So both of them have to play with what they have. Rook to e3. Preparing for a nice, a nice rook lift, preparing ideas, maybe rook to f3 or rook to g3 in the future. We have rook to c7, and now knight to d3. Rook to c7, again, giving additional protection to the f7 pawn. Now ideas like rook to g3 are no longer possible. Now simply knight to h5 attacks the queen and the rook, and the f7 pawn is protected by the rook on c7. So after rook to c7, knight to d3. Preparing to remaneuver that knight to c5. So Ding quickly plays rook to c3 before the knight comes to c5 and logs the c-file. Knight to c5. Now rook captures on e3, queen captures on e3, and now bishop to c6. Rook to c1, and now queen to b6. Again, giving protection to the bishop on c6, and also preparing to push the queenside pawns. We have f3, solidifying that pawn on e4, rook to d8, and now king to f2. And here Ding pushes a5. He says, you don't really have anything here with white pieces. I'm just gonna push my pawns on the queen side, as I do have the advantage here, and you can't really do anything in the center. Mamedyarov goes g4. Now we have a4 attacking the bishop, bishop to c2, and now knight to d7. Bishop to d3, now knight captures on c5, rook captures on c5, and now b4, pushing the pawns even further. Bishop to c4, giving protection to the b3 square. Bishop to d7 now, not allowing this bishop to become a target, and also adding more protection here to the e6 square. This bishop will become a very important defensive piece in the future. First g5, h captures on g5, queen captures on g5, and now bishop to e8. b3 immediately was possible without this bishop to e8 move, but there's really nothing white can do here or push anything. So first Ding improves the position, and only then will he push b3. We have queen to e7 now. Now comes b3, a captures on b3, and now a3, creating a very powerful passed pawn. b4 now, so the bishop is now eyeing the a2 square, but now rook to a8, and now pawn to a2 is a terrible threat. Here you don't really have a great move for white. Here Mamedyarov tried d5. d5 with the idea that after a2, which is what Ding played, now Ding is basically offering this pawn here. For example, bishop captures, and of course you can't capture the bishop with the rook because your bishop on e8 is hanging, but simply queen captures on b4 wins the game for black. Why does it win? Well, the rook on c5 is pinned. Your next move is gonna definitely be rook to c8 attacking it, and there's really nothing for white to do here. So after something like bishop to c4, getting the bishop out of harm's way, now comes rook to a1, and however hard to believe, black is lost here. It doesn't matter. White doesn't have a move. Any move white play loses. Doesn't really matter. Even capturing this bishop with check, king h7, again, white doesn't have a move. Whatever you play, you can maybe try and give up this bishop instead of something, but regardless, black always says queen to e1 check, king g2, and now queen to g1, and this will be checkmate, as the f pawn and the dh pawn lock away the king. So after this a2, Mamedyarov tried d captures on e6. Here Ding calculates precisely. He brings another queen into the game, but it was not that simple to calculate everything. But he was very successful in doing so. E captures on f7 with check, pawn captures, and now bishop captures on f7 with check. Queen captures isn't any better. We have king to h7 and now queen to h4 check. So the bishop is guarding the g8 and the g6 square. The king can't go anywhere. Queen to h6 blocking, and now rook to h5. And this would be a completely winning position for white if it weren't for the fact that Ding has another queen on a1, which is very unfortunate for Mamedyarov, but it is as it is. So here it's Ding's move, and you do have to play precisely to win this game. You could maybe blunder the game by maybe playing queen to d4 check, king to g2, and then trying to figure out a win here for black. But Ding doesn't go for anything like this. He immediately plays queen to a7. This comes with check, and this is the strongest move as it picks up the bishop on f7. So after this queen to a7 move, Mamedyarov resigned the game. What would follow? King g2, queen captures, and now white really doesn't have anything here. You do have to kind of capture the queen. You can't allow black to have two queens on the board. Rook captures, pawn captures, and now black is simply up a whole rook. Regardless of there being so many pawns on white side, it's pointless to play this. So yeah, after this queen to a7 check, Mamedyarov resigned, and the curse is officially broken. Ding Liren won his first game in the candidates tournament, and interestingly, I better show it before I forget. Here are the results after 12 rounds of the candidates tournament. You have Karyakin in first place with 7 points and Caruana in second place with also 7 points. Because the main criteria, if there's a tiebreak, is is the encounter between the two of them. So Karjakin won their encounter, and so it's Karjakin who will take first place if they will tie at the end of the tournament. Mamedyarov now in third place with 6.5, but there's also a tie. Grishuk also with 6.5, and Ding Liren also with 6.5 after beating Mamedyarov in this game. So Mamedyarov also had an excellent chance here. If he won this game against Ding Liren, then he would have 7.5 points, but unfortunately Ding played an excellent game and now created chances for everyone. So now pretty much everyone has an opportunity to win the candidates. You know, maybe, okay, maybe not Kramnik. That would be, I don't know if that would be even possible. All of the leading players would have to lose all of their games, which I don't think it's possible. But you know, Ding, Grishuk, Mamedyarov, Caruana, and Karjakin, all 5 of them have excellent chances of winning the tournament. And it's interesting, after 12 rounds, now it's only Ding Liren who is still undefeated in this tournament. And not all the games were drawn. He won this game, so definitely an excellent performance. His rating performance is now 2818, which, I mean, of course, all of the players are rated around 2800, but still, you know, an excellent showing. And I did prepare the pairings for the next round. Here are the pairings for round 13. We have Mamedyarov versus Grishuk, also a game that could decide the outcome of the candidates tournament. Ding Liren versus Kramnik. So if Ding wants to win, he does have to push with the white pieces against Kramnik, definitely. Kramnik doesn't really have a chance of winning, but maybe that's the reason why he will be so successful in playing this game. Maybe there will be no pressure. He has the black pieces. He can just wait for Ding to push and maybe punish him. It will be a very interesting game. Then we have Wesley with the white pieces against Karjakin. It's can Karjakin do something here with the black pieces? Not likely, but you know, yeah, anything can happen, I guess. And then Caruana versus Aronian. Aronian drew his game today, so he did stop the bleeding. But Caruana will definitely try to do something with the white pieces in that game against Levon. So yeah, those were the pairings and the results after round 12. I do hope you enjoyed that, and I do hope you enjoyed this game. Once again, thanks to Nikki, we do have photos from every round of this tournament. As usual, all of the links to her social media pages will be in the description below. Feel free to follow her if you enjoy some chess photography and photography in general. And yeah, as usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. Probably we'll have to see. Maybe tomorrow we do have time for one Tal versus Botvinnik game, but we'll see. Either way, thank you all, and have an excellent Saturday and the rest of the weekend.